I mentioned that I'll talk about the casting a bit. I know I'm throwing a Carolina rig, but it applies to the jerkbait as well. These surf rods that you're gonna want are more in the category of salmon steelhead rods. And what that means is it's super parabolic and it's meant to absorb the head shakes of a salmon or steelhead. Usually you're using barbless hooks when you're targeting that species. So you need a rod that's gonna absorb all of that. See how that bends all the way? So oftentimes when people ask, hey, what's the trick? And they're casting a rod that's too heavy, that doesn't have that rebound effect. Not only does that help keep the fish pinned, but it allows you to load up like this. Think about it as a whip. Where the handle of the whip goes, the rest of the whip follows. Also, on these rods, specifically your surf rods, you're gonna have this longer butt section. So simultaneously, while you're pushing forward, you're letting that rod load up all of that weight to fling it forward, kind of like a slingshot. Let it load, that's important. And since it's flexible, it's gonna be able to translate that. And if I took a screenshot of that cast, you'll notice how bent that rod is. Sometimes it's bent right in half. Sometimes those rods are a little too heavy to where you don't get that bend and you're not gonna get the distance that you want. Length does come into play too. Most of these rods are 9'6" to even 12 foot. This one is the 10-foot, 7-inch Hawaiian Customs. But that butt section, you wanna pull down, again, simultaneously. So that's a couple tips, is letting it load. Find that balance of pulling on your rod handle, pulling down on it while flinging forward, but always keep in mind you wanna load up. Another thing is you wanna make sure your weight or your lure is about halfway distance of your rod. I'd say like about that far down is how far you want that sinker or lure to be, because that allows you to have the end of the whip be long enough to act like a whip, right? Like that. Yeah, hopefully that helps. If you guys have any other questions, other people are in the comments too. What are your tricks to good casting distance, specifically with the jerkbait?